projects. So the next slide is. So the main issues are overcrowding, litter and graffiti, air and noise pollution, and energy saving. These are the four main problems. So let me tell you something about the first problem. Next slide, please. So overcrowding. As statistics show, in 1990, the population of Moscow was 8,880,124, but in 2017, this number increased and reached more than 12 million people in Moscow. The exact number you can see here. So the main reason for overcrowding is not a baby boom, but only voluntary relocation, and this process hasn't been controlled at all. But why people go to Moscow? Well, the reasons are numerous. For example, people go to Moscow to find a job, they go to Moscow to study, they travel here, they have business trips here, so reasons are numerous, but all that leads to traffic jams and crowding in public transport, for example, that wasn't designed to satisfy the needs of so many residents. The number of seats in one bus or in one subway car, the number of patients accepted in a hospital per one day, the number of pupils in one class, everything has limits and we need to understand that. The next problem is litter and graffiti. Well, they go together because they are closely linked to a huge problem, which is misbehaving of young people, misbehaving of adults as well, or maybe even organizations. So, litter. Our capital produces 12 million tons of litter a year, 4.5 of which is from residential areas and is also called solid household waste. Residential areas waste can be divided into several parts. It is food waste, which is almost 1/4 of the whole amount of waste. Then it is hazardous waste, for example, batteries, and secondary raw material like paper, plastic, and glass. By 2018, some new landfills were established. Some of the old ones were renewed, but as environmentalists say, establishment of new landfills is just a temporary measure and doesn't really solve anything. Actually, Moscow lacks the system of waste segregation, but according to a new opinion poll, citizens of Russia in general appreciate the idea of separating waste, and 40% of respondents are ready to start separating their waste or already do that. Besides, the reality is not bright in Moscow because residents receive bills with extortionate costs of disposal and export of waste. Besides, conflicts between managing companies occur too often. All that leads to uncollected rubbish being left everywhere. The next slide, please. Graffiti. The main problem about graffiti is that they can call for cruelty, for obscene language, for drug consumption, for smoking, and so on. Besides, some graffiti may picture children being in dangerous situations, which can be really harmful for children who see these pictures in real life. Well, besides, local urbanists claim that some graffiti do not fit into the framework of urban environmental design, neither do advertisement images. Well, actually, graffiti are possible if they picture historical events, some famous people, but without any commercial components. Next slide.
Air noise pollution. Air noise pollution is caused by transport and factories. As Polina said, because of overcrowding, Moscow had to increase transport, and that has caused air pollution and climate change, heat waves and cold spells. Transport has caused a big noise pollution in our city, where people are complaining about these noises that live near main roads and train stations. Heat waves have caused many fires that have killed 11,000 people in the past 5 years. As well, cold spells. Cold spells have caused a serious decrease in temperature that goes below -40. Now, factories. Factories are a big problem. Factories have caused air pollution in Ljubljana and Marino. These regions have been affected because there are many factories that process oil and metal, where people are complaining that they cannot live there because of the air. It is unbreathable. This is a map of noise in Moscow. As you can see, most of the noise is concentrated around the third main circle and in regions where a lot of factories are. And this is the map of Moscow air pollution. As you can see, most of the air pollution as well, again, is produced here, where most of the factories again are.
The next problem is energy saving. Moscow, as you know, is one of the most leading energy powers, but it has a lot of problems. For example, power in cities is very expensive. As you can see right there, most of the power is going to the households. This is 42%, 21% is going to the services, 30% to process industries, 12% for the transport and communication, 7% for the utilities, 2% for the construction. Most of the energy in Moscow is generated by thermal plants that are scattered all over the Moscow. But there are so many of them that they cause very big noise pollution that people can't live with. Nuclear plants are very fewer than thermal plants and can produce more energy, but it can be more problems with them because they can emit radiation and explode if not properly taken care of them. Evaluation criteria.
Yes, evaluation criteria, just to know. So the first one, provided solutions to each problem. We have 4 main problems and we need to provide solutions to each of them. Do not miss anything. Provided solutions based on the real current situation. So it means that you shouldn't make up the data, you shouldn't make up the facts. The basis of your projects is the information you were given. Sufficient arguments. Well, it's obvious that you need to be convincing, your arguments should be convincing. Confident and well-organized speech. It means that you know what you're going to talk about, you don't avoid eye contact, your speech is a system, and well, as for time, I think 20 minutes maximum, it's enough. Well, of course, we're not going to stop you and interrupt you, but if your talk lasts for too long, it means it's not well organized. Presentation is helpful and doesn't distract listeners. So you have pictures, you have helpful diagrams, maybe numbers and so on, just to help listeners understand your decisions better. And you should convince the audience that your project is the best one. Well, I mean, it is your